And now, this is one with all on the line here. TY and Bunny sitting in the lower bracket. TY falling down to Maru, and maybe he had a shot in game 2, but game 1 was pretty convincing. And Bunny making some mistakes, really, against Classic. I was not clean from either side, but it was Classic that carried at the end of the day. So now, we get to see who gets that match or that rematch against Classic. Does TY get to show us how good his TVP is? We don't know. We know that he has struggled on ladder. He struggled to even hit 5.8k on the Korean ladder, which for a GSL caliber player is not that great. It's not that impressive, but well, we're gonna have to see. So in the break, I made the opening to a joke about how a baby and a bunny walk into a bar, and you know, that's a joke opening. I don't know where it goes. Apparently, ChatGPT tells us that the bartender looks at them and says, "Sorry, we don't serve minors or hares here." That's some pretty horrible humor, just like Bunny's sense of humor right now, because he's bunkering up TY's natural. I don't think this completes, but what it does do is it does force SCVs off the line a little bit more, and forces maybe a little bit of panic in TY's subconscious. And actually, that's really fair. Because, you know, TY is, been struggling to do really well on ladder, and we know TY is rather new back from the military, so you throw weird things at him. You make him feel a little bit more concerned, and TY's going to get a Marine out. He's actually going to let the... Okay, I understand why, but this is still dicey. He's gonna let the bunker complete. Marine wants to stay on the high ground. One SCV will fall. All you needed was one more shot to get this SCV down. He's gonna get it anyways. Look at the timing there. TY. He knows the timing. He figured it out. Who am I to judge? This Reaper gets an SCV, that's fine. I mean, whatever. It's the difference. TY went CC first, actually. I didn't quite look at it because I was focusing on the bunker, but TY went CC first. And he's going to get a Reaper too. Oh, no. TY's timing is just impeccable here. So he goes CC first. He loses a single SCV for it, and maybe a tiny little bit of mining time, but not a ton. Bunny attempts to bunker it. That doesn't really work. And yeah, you know, you get the majority of the money back when you cancel the bunker, but... that's still money that you don't have to build SCVs in the moment. It's an investment that it depreciates. And yeah, I mean, at least you get some of the money back, but it does slow you down even more. So now it's a single Reaper trying to find pressure. There's a Hellion on... this isn't going to get anything. There's a Hellion on the high ground, and yeah, Bunny has to run away pretty much immediately. So now TY's I really like TY's response here. He's got a Banshee on the way, and that in the context of this game where this was Reaper pressure coming out of Bunny, and Bunny likely looking for more pressure because, well, it's a CC first that hasn't been punished yet, and that's a decently timed third base as well. Because of this greed that we've seen out of TY, he knows that Bunny is likely going to get aggressive again, which means that Bunny is not going to be investing into defensive options quite as much. So you get a Banshee across, and it makes a lot of sense. But for now, this tank drop is pretty powerful, but it's only 4 Marines. Granted, there's a medevac, and that does help. But the Banshee, I was talking about it in the context of being an aggressive option, running across, as there's not a lot to defend Bunny. But instead, it just makes this tank drop and invalidates it. Totally invalidates it. And now Bunny's going to try to find value again, but most he does, he delays the command center for just a tiny bit of time. Here, the Reaper falls. Granted, Bunny had to lose that Reaper because he wanted to make sure the tank could pick up. There actually wasn't enough room in the medevac for the moment. And this pressure from... okay, that's a good lock on. This Cyclone should get the Banshee. And actually, there we go. That's just commitment to kill the tank, and he gets it. Last shot. So the power of this push is not nearly what it was. Now the third base, actually the big deal here is because Bunny was able to delay that third base for a little bit. Bunny and TY, their third bases are pretty similarly timed. And that means that, I mean, TY has a significant economic lead. Let's make no bones about it here. He's up 8 workers. You know, that's a pretty big deal. But at least the third bases are going to be similarly timed, although it seems like TY is posturing to take his faster. And the other interesting thing is that this is Mech out of TY. We saw him try to do it to Maru in game number 1, and it is somewhat worked out. And that it didn't, actually. It didn't work out well at all. But this is a much better opening. Maru got damage done early. Not damage done early, but his second round of drops did tons of damage. But because TY committed pretty heavily to this aggressive option, round 1, round 2, and round 3, there's a lot more time and space. There's a significantly higher amount of time and space that TY has to get himself set up before the pressure comes from Bunny and Ernest. And these scouting marines are beautiful right now. Bunny's going to try to find his way on the right side, and there are ravens. Yeah, absolutely, but they're going to take some damage. And the tanks are going to siege up far forward of the base. So TY now has this opportunity to go and try to find more. And actually, this tank, okay, it's not going to get locked on. Well, it's not going to get locked onto, so Bunny can back up for the time being. With no stim, though. This doesn't seem all that likely. And Bunny, I think, is starting to realize that this is not going to work out super well. He's got his 4th base on the way, and that's how you generally like to see Mech versus, or Bio versus Mech. The Bio player starts to take extra bases and really start to expand on the map. We didn't see Maru do that, of course, because Maru just got his drops in and traded better than the Mech player did, and that's not great. But so for now, Vikings in the main, though. They will kill the medevac, not before it mostly unloads. In fact, what is that? All but 1 unloads. But now Vikings land. Yeah, these Marines will fall. It's really not going to be a lot of economic damage, but this does open the left side. This is a nice position that Bunny has found himself in, but the tanks are going to siege up. Auto turrets damaged on top of them, so these tanks are going to get sniped. Well, at least, yeah, actually both of them will be. And this is scary right now, because TY doesn't, he has the air dominance, but not by a level, not at a level where he could just win the game off of it immediately and kind of land on top. It will take a little bit of time to cut the Vikings down, so he loses a couple workers, but now here's the pull. The Ravens are going to get zoned out. Vikings landed. SCVs on top of the Vikings is not what you want there. They kill mechanical units so quickly. So for now, though, TY does hold. That economic lead that he had is not quite as strong as it once was. You know, 4 workers here instead of, I think it was like 10 at one point, 10 to 12. But he's kind of realized that he does have that air lead. So now Liberators are on the way, adding in Hellions. Actually, that's a little awkward, right? Because Hellions are getting made out of the tech labs. Ideally, you'd be making Hellions out of factories with reactors and tanks out of the tech labs. But I guess TY is just kind of in this position where he wants Hellions more than anything else. He needs them 4 at a time and just wants to make sure that he has that defensive opportunity. But for now, I mean, this pressure doesn't... It's going to delay the 4th base a little bit, but I don't... With the Liberators here, I don't think it's really going to do all that much. And, I mean, I thought I was going to say that TY has nearly incontrovertible air lead with all the Vikings going down, but Bunny's actually done a very good job of rebuilding that. So, actually, it's kind of parity. In fact, as Liberators get made, Bunny's going to have the air lead once again, and that does make this Liberator power just a little bit less powerful. But for now, TY advancing his tech as he does have that 4th base. 2 more factories on the way, and 4th base just about done. So TY now really solidly. He's going to be on 8 gas. He's going to have that really nice mech position that you want to find yourself in. And on Neo-Humanity, I mean, this is a hard mech position to break. You have that gulch in the middle that, I mean, good luck pushing through this, especially with the rocks down. It's just a lot of chokes. So let's see how Bunny looks to do this. He doesn't have a 5th base on the way just yet. As I see that, started, cast a curse, there we go. Doesn't quite have that, didn't have that 5th base on the way, so it was kind of hitting economic parity for a time being. And it seems like his solution is just, he's leapfrogging. He doesn't want to play Bio at all, which is fair. Going into late game Bio versus Mech can be very challenging. So instead, he's going Sky Toss, or Sky Terran. Skipping it entirely. Liberator range is about halfway. Enhanced ballistics is about halfway done. I would expect him to get air upgrades fairly quickly, but there's no 2-2 on the ground. He's buying bio, sure, fine. That's a transit, but it's a transition tech. So that's how Bunny looks to break the mech. It's gonna be Sky. It's gonna be Liberators. It's gonna be Vikings. And he is going to be first to it, right? With TY only on 1 starport right now. He's got 2 more on the way. Sure, absolutely. He's getting there. But TY is slower to the air tech. And that does give Bunny a timing where he can, I mean, his Viking fleet right now, 17 to 13, is really powerful. And there's no other auxiliary anti-air. But even still, the Ravens, yeah, Bunny can absolutely shut this down. This is a hard position. This is such a challenging position for TY to hold on to, and I think he's just got to give it up. I don't think he's in the right tech path right now. I don't know whether we want to maybe Thors, maybe go into Cyclones or something just to buy time, but he does not have the Viking count to deal with this, and this is a dead. It's going to be a hard 4th base to hold. I'm not saying it's dead yet, but it's going to be hard. So TY, he does the bio thing. He does the anyone but mech thing, and he's going for a base trade. At least he feints a base trade. This is actually so smart. Actually, he's going to lose a lot of tanks for it. I was going to say, wow, he's just so smart. He pretends he's base trading, and then he just pulls back to kill all the army on the ground, which he does, but he doesn't. He actually sieges the tanks up, and he loses a significant number of them, but actually that buys supply. Now, he's the one that's going to he actually effectively has the Viking count right now with the upgrades. That being said, anti-armor missile does change things around a little bit here, but he's going to be able to win this Viking fight. It's closer to him. He's got better upgrades on the Vikings, and he's actually actively, well, he was building more. Now, of course, Bunny has that honor. So now we're on 5th base territory, and the interesting thing about this, the reason why this map is so good for mech, especially in TvT maybe, is that or really against anyone who's not a Protoss player, is that you can take this forward base. And this forward base is fantastic for mech for a couple of reasons. First of all, you mine double gas. You need less workers to make sure that you can have a massive gas economy. And for mech, even more so than bio, you really do care about that. All the mech units are very expensive on the gas count. You can buy Marines, and it's just not quite as gas expensive. On top of that, you have this high ground that your opponent's going to have to fight into, and that is not easy to do. So for now, Bunny's trying to posture, but the Gulch, the Gully, has been knocked down. There are rocks in the middle of the map, so you're not pushing through there easily. Drop on the right side, actually. He's going to get a couple tanks. That's very nice. And Bunny has taken an extra base. But as the tank siege up here with +2, this is a lot of damage. Of course, TY, by pushing forward like this, does expose himself just a little bit. He does make it a little bit harder. A little bit easier, for Bunny to take that fight. So Marauders on the right side, they're going to... The command center is going to complete, and then it should just lift, and Marauders shouldn't get that much damage done. But it's the push on the left side. This is where things can get a little bit scary here, and you have to be careful of the Marines still. Even if they're only 1-1, they can kill significant Viking counts. So TY is actually taking pretty painful trades on either side, but he's baited out the Sky Fleet. That's the big deal, actually. The Vikings, they run forward. That's a lot of Vikings falling, and these Marauders are going to be annoying. The push on the left side, tanks blow them sky high. It's +2 tanks, and it's only +1 Marines. It's only +1 Marauders. Horrible trade for Bunny. Really, really such a bad trade for Bunny at this point. And now as the Vikings run forward, this is a dead forward planetary. Bunny had to give it up. It wasn't going to last. And yeah, he's got a better economy for now, absolutely. But the longer this goes, I mean, TY has reached rough economic parity. TY has everything he could possibly want. He has actually, he doesn't have a bigger bank, but that's just because he's investing it otherwise. The interesting thing, I'm going to be curious to see whether he goes +3 air or +2 air. Okay, there we go. So it's going to be +2 air, +3 ground. Doesn't really stick around for +3 armor for the moment. So he's just always going to have significant upgrades on Bunny. Yeah, Bunny does have well, actually, as I say that, that's not going to be true for a little bit because Bunny's +2 air attack is just about done. So it's going to be 2-1 versus 1-2. And that does favor TY a little bit because Vikings fire 2 shots, so the armor applies twice. And it does shut down that a little bit. But it's not enough to say, hey, you know, the upgrades are going to make the difference in this Viking war. I don't think. I think the numbers are just enough that it's going to be a wash for the most part. But this is a dead base from Bunny. The moment he lifts this command center, it just gets evaporated. So he chooses to have it die just a little bit slower, and that's fun. The problem with this is a dead orbital. All right, Bunny has 5 of them. That's something. Oh, big Liberator splash there as TY pulls back a little bit. So this is not a good Viking fight for him at all. 30 Vikings to somehow Bunny got up to 30 Vikings, and TY is at 11. He really desperately has to rebuild, but he's got to do more than that. Just got to land him. Got to run away here. Bunny has sneakily built the biggest air lead I've seen in a TvT in a long time. And it seems like Thors are going to be the attempted solution. I don't hate that. Thor's splash damage is actually rather nice. And there are just random missile turrets around, which does a little bit more. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, Thors is this, plus 3 Thors as the solution here are pretty solid. TY actually, I don't know why he jumped the Vikings. Maybe he wanted more supply, but that was weird. That didn't feel right, because if you wanna just give them away, I mean, that's fine. You can do that, but don't go land them again. Anyways, the Thors are here. They've arrived as tanks will now start to fall. Now TY has Liberators on the other side that the Vikings will absolutely deal with, but TY wants to push once again, and it surprises me a little bit that we see high impact payload really coming out of these Thors, but I guess you want to deal with the Liberators. Okay, that makes some level of sense, as the landed Vikings are going to find another base here from from Bunny as they hop down, hop up, and actually I like this from Bunny. He lands half, unlands half, or lands half, jumps half, whatever you want to call it. But still, 18 workers have died. TY is starting to get 8. He might have too many workers at this point. It's 58 workers to 90. Yeah, I love this as well. We got Drilling Claws on the way. No Widow Mines just yet, but Drilling Claws on this is just, oh, it's so... I'm waiting for the highlight. Run a bunch of Widow Mines in, put Drilling Claws down, and just blow up all the Vikings. Oh, there's a world where that happens, and it would make me so happy. And there we go. Widow Mines, 5 on the way at a time here. And there really is not a lot left on the ground to counter this. We have 1 tank, 4 Marauders, the only ground force that Bunny has. So there's not going to be a lot that is going to allow him to kill Widow Mines before they arrive. This reveal is going to be fun. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be great. Or it's not going to work at all, and Bunny's going to carry the game, and you know, all that's going to happen. But I choose to believe that this is just going to be a lot of fun. So for now, TY's pushing, inviting Bunny into a fight. And with this Viking, I truly don't know why he continues to build Vikings at this point. He kind of won't beat the number. But Widow Mines, they're scattered out here looking to burrow up on the right side. Big shot there on the Liberators. And a couple more. Oh, he's going to get them all. Oh, it's not enough to kill, but it's enough to do so much damage that like 1 or 2 Thor splashes is going to kill them all. And if you repair them, that is the entire bank of Bunny gone. Yeah, repairing is cheaper than building them anew, but I mean... And the Widow Mines just a little bit further forward. Oh, it's beautiful. We were talking about it, and yeah, you know, some of them will fall, but it's another dead base. The planetary has to get killed. I love this so much. This sparks so much joy in my life. Oh, he gets more. Oh, okay, I thought that one was going to get killed, but anyway, now this Viking count. So it is 27 Vikings to 16. 11 more Vikings for Bunny, but Bunny down an upgrade, and all of the Vikings for Bunny are so low, where realistically, there's a world here where this Viking fight goes TY's favor in a significant way, despite everything else. Widow Mines looking to shoot, but they're actually just going to shoot on the ground, so that's something there. And the slow repair is happening. These SCVs are trying to recover the HP a little bit, but it's so expensive. It's actually so expensive. And now the Cyclones with Magfield, they're going to lock on top. Well, they don't have, now they have Magfield. They're going to lock on top of the planetary, and that is a lot of damage. And this is what we've missed, right? In TvT, in Mech versus Terran, no one plays Mech like TY does. No one plays Mech versus Terran like TY does. And now we're getting it here. The Vikings are getting absolutely shredded. Counts be damned. The Viking count, this is a should be a 1 Viking fight for TY. As I say that, never mind. The Vikings, I still lose a little bit, but the Thors are doing an incredible job here, and yeah, the tanks are going to have to unsiege, and this Thor has to stay out of range. But God, I love TY. No one else plays like this. No one gives us these mech games like this. Yes, Gumiho's the king of mech, but he plays very differently. This is classic TY. I'm here. I am absolutely here for it. This is great. This sparks so much joy, but TY does have to be careful because this push can still be powerful. The random Hellion is kind of useless, actually, at this point, but now Vikings are going to join the fray. What are we looking at? 11 Vikings to 0, but the Liberators actually can do a lot here. Problem is, Vikings kite away, and TY is actually taking the fight in liberation zones, which I don't think he wanted to do. But even still, smart servos there, kill all the tanks. And at this point, well, TY's got money. Bunny doesn't. That's the big deal. TY takes the bottom side. More Widow Mines just... And I think the interesting thing about this is it would have been very tempting for TY to go and commit to the Widow Mines. To keep building them over and over again. But he realized that this was just a timing. He just needed to get splash damage on all the Vikings to force Bunny back to allow it. Because even if Bunny, again, technically had the Viking lead, at that point, the Vikings were so low that it didn't matter. That, it bought him time. It allowed him to go break the left base. It allowed him time to get his Viking count back up, get his Thor count up. And he doesn't really want Widow Mines in the late game. So he was allowed to go. And he got, I think, like 10 Widow Mines maybe. Do we have any on the map? We got 1 on the map still. He built... Yeah, look, he built like 12, 13 Widow Mines. Okay. That's not a massive commitment. And now that once he had the time, once he had the money to kind of decommit from that, it was totally fine. So now he has this big expensive army once again, and maybe he loses the right side. It's a little obnoxious. But the big question we're looking at right now is, okay, this orbital shouldn't die. It's gonna die. I don't know how I'm just disappointed in TY for that one. But the question we ask ourselves now is, how does TY end the game? Because I think he's in a game-winning position. That is the big deal. He's up 20 army supply. He's got, at this point, equal upgrades, but he's mining so much more, and he's got a bigger bank. The thing he doesn't have is, well, I'm not going to say time because he does, but he really cannot allow Bunny. He really cannot allow Bunny to max out. That's the big deal. If Bunny maxes out, he's going to have 155 army supply. He's going to have a lot of stuff, and that can put us pretty rapidly into positions where TY, despite all these leads that he has, can't take the fight. It's going to be, 50 Vikings or something, and it's like, good luck there. You're not going to take that fight. But so long as he takes fights now, as Liberators run forward, look for a little bit of splash. And what are we looking at here? 18 Vikings to 19. TY is losing this fight. Well, TY is losing the Viking fight, I guess, is the better way to say that one, especially with the Liberators not getting targeted down. So TY, he's going... TY kills an orbital with SCVs. And Hellbats, but primarily SCVs. I think he meant to give some of those SCVs away because he knows he needs more supply available to him, but he kills an orbital with SCVs. I'm not okay. Like that is unacceptable. That has me shook. For now, though, all the landed Vikings are going to try to run forward. Liberators in the sky are doing what they can to knock these tanks down. This is Bunny's last attempt in a couple Widow Mines. Every time TY falls down on the Viking cat, it's like, a couple Widow Mines. It's going to be fine. And he just counters it so hard. Great lock-ons as well means this Liberator will fall. And Bunny can't dive on top like he wants. The Widow Mines are preventing that. The splash damage is just too strong. So, yeah, technically right now, supplies are somewhat equivalent. Not even. TY has money. Bunny is very broke. This is pretty much the last mining base that Bunny has. He's got a couple mineral patches elsewhere, but he needs to keep this base alive. As that good splits, great splits from Bunny. Only loses a single Marauder, and I went, yeah, it's fine. That makes the Widow, that invalidates the Widow Mine. Problem is, Bunny's mining 1,000 minerals a minute. He's mining 600 gas. He's had a base taken from him. And all that together just means that, well, TY is slowly constricting the map. He's playing Octopus Mech, is what this is. Just slowly, once he gets his suction cups in there, he just is not dislodged from where he is and starts to slowly grasp on Kraken Mech, maybe. Maybe Kraken Mech's a little bit better. But regardless, I think it's interesting, actually, that he's gone into Battle Mech in the late game here. Just the Cyclones are so multi-purpose that, you know, you run Hellbats forward and they tank for the tanks, and Cyclones can kill the rest. They can kill the Vikings very nicely. If they can get lock-ons on Liberators. It's actually pretty solid when you know your opponent can't afford anything, and there we go. TY plays a 26-minute game, but takes game 1. And here we are, Bunny down to his last life, and TY just showing us that, yeah, maybe he struggles to hit 5,800 on the ladder, and yeah, sure, maybe Maru took him to class a little bit, but put him against anyone but Maru in a TvT, and it's a different story. And Bunny, okay, fair enough. Bunny going for a bit of a proxy in this game number 2, going for a bit of a cheeky idea in this game number 2, and we're gonna have to see what exactly that has in store for us. But for right now, well, TY isn't aware. Although I would like to remind you all, well, you know, he's gonna find it. Yeah. He's gonna see the SCV coming from this angle. He's gonna see, he knows exactly. Okay. He absolutely found that. And now it's like, Bunny's gonna commit to it because he has to, because it's kind of what you're supposed to do, but this is not going to feel nearly as good for Bunny as if, well, Bunny hadn't been scouted. As if Bunny was just trying to attempt this and, you know, you have suddenly 3 Reapers, suddenly 4, suddenly you pull it, suddenly there's all this enhanced value. Instead, TY is well aware of what's happening. He's going to send an SCV onto the other side anyways to see kind of how quickly Bunny bails out. And in the meantime, Factory, 2/3 of the way down here, building Marines after the Reapers because he knows he won't be able to match the Reaper count. And I really can't imagine this getting... Obviously it can, but I don't... This really shouldn't get that much damage done. As it's a bit of an own goal from Bunny. Takes damage from his own KD8 charges. And yeah, maybe SCV falls. Helion's halfway done. 1/3 of the way done here. This hasn't even been a significant SCV pull. Oh, look at this, TY. Oh, God, I love you. I don't know how well this is going to work necessarily, but building a starport in Bunny's natural as a response to this is absolutely filthy. It's so... It's beautiful. It's the best thing ever. You, of course, do have to hold on from what's happening right now, but as the Hellions are out, one's already out here, has taken 0 damage. A second Reaper falls. This is just not working at all here. SCV's pulled for, I guess, for scouting. This is... TY's taking 0 damage. He's lost a single SCV, and he's traded army for army. It's for Liberators. I love this so much. And, oh, wait, oh, man, that's so smart. He's going Liberators, he's proxying it as close as possible, and he's blocking the tech lab. Now, eventually, oh, okay, it gets found out, and that's something. But the SCV there, eventually, yeah, it died, but it sacrificed, it sold out to block the tech lab, to make it so Cyclone was slower on the come out here, and now TY on the other side with these Hellions, the Reapers can't fight all that well. Here we go. Liberators out. The anti-air from Bunny is going to be slow in coming. This is going to be significantly denied mining. And now, I mean, the Hellions, I guess they're going to back out. The Hellions are good pressure at the front. 2 workers fall. This is brilliant from TY. Like, yeah, mechanics maybe not there as much. Again, we saw what happened with Maru. We've heard his stories on the ladder. But from a game sense perspective, I'm like thinking about the game. This is so smart from TY. This is so smart from TY. And the Liberator stays alive. The Cyclone doesn't get the kill. So now this begs the question of where we go from here. Right, that is really the big question, because I think TY got substantive material significant damage. Yeah, it was only 2 workers, but the Proxy Reaper got nothing done. TY had a much faster base. Everything really is going for TY at this point, and now it seems like Stim is a 2-Rax idea is going to be the name of the game, as this barracks will eventually fall, and it's a full scout though. Bunny is aware that TY has Stim on the way. Like that's a pretty significant scout. Except, wait, what? Am I confused? Oh, big Widowmine shot. Wasn't there a tech lab in the main and Stim? What happened there? I could have sworn I saw Stim getting researched. I guess yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. I guess he killed his tech lab, but tech lab's not showing up on the unit's lost tab. I guess he clicked his tech lab on accident. Yeah, I'm not crazy. I guess he killed his own tech lab and delayed Stim. Okay, that's we were talking about advantages about how quick you could get your Stim and everything else. That's not there anymore. What? Like, even if the units were trapped in, and they weren't, by the way, I don't think they were, at least, that's not worth killing Stim over. Kill the reactor for that. It is not, like, when you are going for a timing like that, when you're going for a 2-on-1, because that seemed to be what TY was going for, it is not worth it to delay your Stim, as the Reaper finds its way into the natural. It's going to get 2 SCVs, maybe even more. We're going to find out. And Viking lands. Okay, that's good defense. TY could have Stim right now. He could be moving. He could have moved on the map 30 seconds earlier. This is just really weird. Sorry, I'm not saying more right now, but like, my mind is just mine isn't even blown, because that wasn't intentional by TY, I don't think. But my mind is broken. Like, he killed his own tech lab from full. But now we do have Stim done, right? And we do have this attempted drop. Now, Cyclone gets a lock on. That actually should be a tell to say, hey, go drop. Because the lock-on's not available, but it seems like TY is, well, I say that, but Bunny was positioning to defend the drop elsewhere, so we're going to be fine. For now, though, TY, like, everything was gearing up for this push from TY with that quick Stim. He got a single eBay, +1, like, he's got +1 done right now. He could have combat shields done right now, is the big thing. So his army is just lacking 20% HP. And everything that TY had going for him, quick third is nice, but everything else that TY had going for himself is just not a thing anymore. It just, by killing his Stim like that, he slowed down his combat shield timing, he slowed down this push. It feels real rough. So for now, Biostims into the natural, and that's nice, but they Stim in before combat shields because TY senses opportunity, but now these tanks are going to get shut down. And again, TY is just not going to find the pressure that he wants. That being said, these tanks are getting pretty nice damage here. And as the hot drop happens, well, there's another tank that can do damage, and the reinforcements come in from TY. Combat shield's now done, but actually those Marines are worse than Bunny's because Bunny's 1-1 just completed. So TY, I understand why he wants to be on the map right now. He has a solid pressure position. Like, he feels like he can maintain this tempo. But I don't know. Feels like he's just going to get kind of swung through very quickly. And these Marines, again, the Marines cannot take the fight. The Marines of Bunny are pretty significantly more tanky right now, and that's a big deal. That does mean that TY just has to give this position up. He shelled away. He's gonna lose 2 tanks and a medevac as well. Okay, maybe he doesn't lose the tanks, but he will lose the medevac, and as the reinforcements arrive, it does feel like Bunny should be able to pounce on this. So now we ask ourselves a very similar question to what we asked Bunny in game number 1. It's like, how do you win from here? Or how does Bunny win from here, I guess? Because, you know, TY got himself in some pretty nice spots in that game, and it took him another 5-6 minutes to end the game because TvT. TvT takes a while to end. That's nice. That's a juicy meatball. That's a nice little win of mine. So 2-2's on the way for Bunny. TY, despite having his armory on time, is not going to have that. Getting it started now, but it's a little bit delayed. And it feels like if you're a TY fan, which I think a lot of people are, everyone's excited about TY coming back from the military and hopefully doing well. He's going to have to take this game another 10, 12, 14 minutes, something like that. Like, this game has to go longer because as of right now, he's down on upgrades. I mean, he has upgrade parity, but the timing is, he's never going to have an upgrade timing window. He's down on supply a little bit. He's actually up fairly significantly in economy, but he needs time to allow that to happen as the Vikings will fall. I don't think Bunny breaks this easily. There are no Liberators. There's actually no Vikings. It's a hard break to make. But oh yeah, it's definitely, let's take out the high ground as well. I mean, look at these overlapping tank positions. There's a little wedge that Bunny has found himself in that he can kind of find his way through, but that push does not break TY. So Bunny's going to have to back up, find another angle, reconnoiter. And Bunny has another drop. Again, this is going to get scattered out here for the most part. And as I said, no, it's not. It dodges the supply depot. So 9 Marines thinking about a planetary, but they're not going to. It does force TY. Oh, what a move there. He's going to get medevacs. He gets both. That's, what is that? 15 supply, give or take. That just falls down, and now on the bottom side here as well, there's not as much detection here. There's not as much, or I guess, vision here for TY, but there are 2 Vikings, there's a tank, and there's a missile turret. That is going to knock down a significant amount of this. The scan goes out there, and Bunny just goes a little bit further bottom, dodges the lock-on range, or whatever you want to call it, the aggro range of these Vikings. So 1 medevac will fall, but this is 3 tanks in the main here. This is a problem. This is a significant problem that TY is going to have to work very hard at defending it and breaking open. So for now, it's supply depots. Those are the things that are falling. But a Liberator does siege up left side, and that will start to kill these tanks a little bit. Tank 1 falls, second one dies, and on the left side your tanks are sieged up properly. TY, despite being down upgrades, pushes right on through. The Marines, they carry the day at the end. And 13 workers have died, absolutely, but TY does a far better job of holding on than really he had any right to. And all of a sudden, Bunny's down, loses like 80 supply. And now tanks are falling here as well, so suddenly TY is up 20 army supply. His economy that we were talking about is still despite losing workers, is still in a pretty nice spot. He's got his 5th base done. Well, actually, maybe that's on 5th base is on location being built as Bunny effectively takes his 4th. Suddenly, TY is in just a massive position in this game, and it came from Bunny attempting to break TY and truly being unsuccessful in doing so. And now TY's got upgrades, and more importantly, he's going to have the 3-3 timing. It's not Bunny. TY all of a sudden is the one that's going to have drastically better upgrades on the Marines for quite a while here. Now, he doesn't want to take a fight into this choke. That doesn't feel good. But he can start to just choke this out a little bit, start to build the line of tanks and bio through into the 12 o'clock position that then allows him to push into Bunny's 3rd, maybe. Or he kind of sieges through the choke and forces Bunny to reposition over and over and just wedges his way through. Now, of course, Bunny has a bit of an inside track as well here, and that means that he can push into TY's base as well, and it's kind of a big give and take, ebb and flow. But now, 5 drops, 5 medevacs into the main base here. And actually, TY with the wounded medevac makes a point of dropping the Marines on top of it just to make sure that the missile turret goes down quickly, so all the medevacs survive. And now, there's an attempt at reinforcing the main, but these are +2 Marines. They have healing, a healing that the Marines of Bunny really don't have here, and one tank sieges up, but it only has +1, so it's still 2 shots to the Marines. And TY, it's not the best fight he's ever taken. It gets 6 workers, though, and more importantly, he loses the low medevac. That didn't matter anyways. More importantly, he killed 3 barracks. Production for Bunny's going to hurt for quite a while here. And now, again, TY is just starting to expand and constrict the map. He's got pressure at the front. He's got pressure in the main. This tank is doing a good job of denying, but because TY pressured in the middle, and then, yeah, he got responded to, sure, but he dropped in the main right around that similar time. So he figures, the assumption here, is that Bunny will be rotating, or will be attempting to defend the main, and maybe TY can steal a march on him and find value there. It didn't happen, but I liked the idea. And now TY's got +3 attack, +3 armor, just about done. Stimming up the ramp here. Again, the tanks don't have +2, so the Marines, technically, they could fight. The splits were not good for TY. That's important to point out. And actually, he loses 5 tanks, I think, on the backside. All of a sudden here, that's a pretty solid trade coming out of Bunny, even as the tanks drop on the high ground. But this will be more dead tanks, and that is something. I don't know that TY, even with his 3-3, has the ability to, actually, no, I don't know that he has the ability to necessarily snipe this base, not under withering tank fire, but no, he's going to be able to do so anyways. Now, Bunny, he's the one on the counterattack, and TY is aware of this. He scans it. He doesn't scan it out, but he does see it. The sensor tower sees the army, and now it's going to be Doom drop into the main base. Scan gets dropped here. Liberator's already responding. The army of TY just desperately trying to get back here. There's one tank. There's not. The tank's dead. So this is a scary position again. We saw what TY was able to do with it. He found a supply lead. He shut down production. It was great. But it seems like Bunny is actually positioned to get even more done. He's got a bunch of Marines into the 3rd. They're going to kill 13 workers. And this army in the main is just not being dealt with. Not well at all. So actually, that's not even fair. Because... never mind. Thought those were Bunny's tanks for a second. TY got a base. Is kind of the big thing. TY lost workers. Bunny lost a base. Oh, I love this as well. Just Doom drop on top of the tanks. So you figure that it's been softened up enough, so that pressure from Bunny falls down. But the Marines on the low ground are possible. Now they're going to try to get on top of these very exposed tanks. They're going to be successful in doing so. But the tanks siege up now, and a one-shot stim Marine. So the fact that TY has +2 tanks and Bunny does not is such a significant difference in the magnitude of power that these two players have available to them, that it is... I mean, it's going to be hard. Bunny can't really stim in on top of tanks nearly as easily now because, again, Marines get one shot. Meanwhile, TY can. He can send wounded Marines in. They can buffer a shot. They can be okay. And that makes such a big difference in these fights. Excuse me. But now triple drop into the main. There's one tank defending this. It's only +1. We talked about it. Bunny just gets stimmed on. He gets the Marines. Well, second tank and the Marines. They're going to be more than enough. They're going to be enough to defend at this point. But TY is just getting more damage done. Really is the thing. And I feel like a broken record here. But it feels like every time we see a swing happen or see a map rotation happen is really the best way to talk about this. TY rotates to the main. Bunny does the same. TY does more with less. Although that's not what you want there, TY. That's a lot of dead tanks. But this is another dead base. It's the big deal. So now Bunny has, or TY has pretty much every base on his map, on the map that he can reasonably be expected to take. But his economy, you know, while solid, base count wise, is actually really working on the work, lacking on the workers. It's 51 to 56. So now as the Liberator siege up, it forced the tanks to unsiege, and this is TY's opportunity, diving right on top of things, but the tanks resiege back a little bit further forward. Back a little bit further forward, that makes sense, but he moves back a little bit, back under the aegis of his tank line. But again, we're just lacking that all-powerful +2 from Bunny. Like, I know it seems like I'm just talking, there are so many elements in this game, in this TvT, but the +2 really does feel like the big difference right now, that it allows TY to do more with less. It allows him to hold positions with less tanks, aggress forward with less tanks. And now this is, what is this? This is 36 Marines with +3 just dropping into the main. This is the doom of Bunny. If he cannot break this out, it's going to be such a problem. These are 3/3 Marines. They will shred buildings, and he's got a superior concave as well. So the tanks, as they try to respond, some of them will fall. Marines are absolutely dying. And yeah, sure, eventually TY has to back up. But here's the difference. TY is preparing for these inevitabilities, and Bunny is not. So Bunny just takes more damage time after time after time, and TY is just not taking that damage because he's putting Vikings in positions, he's putting tanks in positions, and that really, or in positions in the main, and dropping missile turrets, and all of those things are really, really nice. But this is a big surround coming in from Bunny. This is the one opportunity. If the fight's going to happen, if Bunny takes this game, it's going to have to be right now. But the tanks are unsieged on the north side, and more Marines, they're going to find their way. And Bunny has to hot pick up here. But the Marines are covering the tanks. And it was a great fight. It was a fantastic surround coming in from Bunny. Really best possible opportunity. But we're seeing the power of the tanks again. We're seeing the power of these Liberators. And this base will not go up. Make no mistake about it here. It has to be canceled immediately. So Bunny, he's in desperate spot right now. He's down 5 workers, down 20 army supply, but again, importantly, down in bases and down in tech. It's kind of the biggest deal. But this Doomdrock is scary. It's just a bunch of tanks. The problem is that there are not a lot of Marines available, and that is absolutely the biggest deal. So Liberators can deal with this. Medevac drops on top can deal with this, and yeah, sure, you know, production's getting hammered just a little bit, but tanks on the low ground do more than enough. Marines pop out, do the rest, and Bunny is making good moves, but unfortunately at this point it's a problem. Even still, SCVs get on top of the tanks here, and the tanks are not firing at the Marines. So for now, again, Bunny makes a break happen. He finds a hold, but it's a Pyrrhic victory. Is absolutely. Bunny had no economy anymore. He was just slowly losing control of that game, and eventually TY took it. Well played, TY.